Hey YouTubers, it's your boy the Visionary. Thank you for watching my channel. This is a video response to a video a friend of mine put up. The title of it's called Adam's Theory, and the subject was about the concept of chivalry and does it have a place in our society in this day and age. Now, a lot of people don't really know the historical origins of chivalry and where it came from. So I think, to get a good understanding of what it means, you got to go back to where it came from, why they created it and what it was used for. So, a long time ago, during, I think, the Middle Ages and whatnot, when there were knights and kings and, King Arthur and all that stuff, it was a code created for knights and the nobility so that, they would hold themselves to a certain standard of morality with the people and with the the royal family. Now, there are certain tenets associated with it, like, you have to be fair, you have to protect the weak, you have to be strong, courageous, brave, and a whole bunch of other things, but those were the main tenets. Now, keep in mind what I just said, the first two, being fair and protecting the weak. Now, this is similar to other code called the Code of Bushido that was in Japan during samurais. So, all over the world, there was some type of code like that with other different cultures and ethnicities and so on and so forth. So, as time moved on, as the ages changed, the code itself started to evolve in and of itself. When you get to the Victorian era, fathers hated having daughters for a certain reason. You know why? Because when they had a daughter and the daughter met a man and they got married, the father was socially obligated to give the husband a large sum of his wealth. Why? Because the husband was going to be taking care of his daughter the rest of his life. So therefore, it was logical to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because she in and of herself wasn't going to be working or, earning a living. The husband's going to do all that. He needed all the help he can get. So, here and there, these, little additions to the code started being added on, and time moved on, time started to progress. And then when you get to I think it was 1940s, 1950s, 60s, during the civil rights era, during the women's suffrage, therein lied a new, perceptual paradigm. And what came into existence was a paradox paradigm, where there are two different paradigms, perceptual paradigms, on how things are supposed to go and how things are supposed to be done started to clash with each other. And the problem was that women coming out of that later on were carrying over an old, outdated, antiquated code of ethics and morality and behavior that didn't clash well or go well with the new age, with the new time. Because, with the advent of feminism, with the advent of the concept of independence and equality, these things basically meant, I am equal to you, I am above you, or, I deserve equal rights, that I'm your equal. Now, keep in mind, those basic concepts that I am equal and I deserve the same things you deserve, wherein lies they still wanted men to be chivalrous. They still wanted men to be versed in the code of chivalry, not understanding what chivalry really meant. Remember what I said before? The 2 points, being fair and protecting the weak. You see, before the suffrage movement, the women's rights suffrage movement, women were considered lower in status and class in every possible way, inferior to men in every way. So when the concept of chivalry comes about, when it evolved throughout the ages, chivalry was meant to make up for the injustices, the imbalances, and the inequalities shared between the sexes to make up for it. You know what I mean? It's like, I have the power, I have the authority, and for all of that, I have a responsibility to you to protect you because, I depend on your support to do what I need to do. In the case of men and women interacting with each other, when we interact, there is an understanding that I have the money, I have a job, I support myself, I have a place, I have a car, this and that, so on and so forth, because society has allowed me to do that, and women not so much. We had a head start, therefore it is expected of me. It's my responsibility to share most of the brunt of, the inequalities, to pay for the dinner, to pull out the chair, to be polite, to be nice, and so on and so forth. Now, as time moved on again, and, the advent of the women's right and suffrage movement and feminism and being independent and all these other concepts and terms, it clashed with it, because it's like women are starting to go, you know what, we are this. We carry the new mentality, but we still want the benefits of the old. And that's a problem, because when you start wanting the benefits of the old, or when you start wanting men to treat you, with the way of the chivalry, you're admitting to yourself that you are inferior, that you are lower in status, that you are lower in class, and that you are not me equal, because that's what chivalry meant, to protect the weak and to be fair. And back then, you weren't my equal. You were weaker than me, and I'm protecting you, and I'm righting an injustice. I'm making sure that everything is balanced. A lot of people don't really know these, basic concepts, and they keep talking about it and not really understand where it comes from. Why it's kind of unfair in a sense, and why women being in that position are not going to give that up, that position of that power, that dominance in that particular field of study, because that's what most people want to do. If you were the king of a country, would you give up your authority? Would you give your position of power just because some people said, this isn't fair and they can prove it? No, you want to keep that. You know what I mean? It's only when they're put into the spot where, for the benefit of all, they're going to have to give up that position, where they're going to be, they're going to start changing. When they have an incentive, in either positive or negative incentive, that's when they're going to start changing. Well, that's my two cents on the subject, my supplementary material for Adam's theory on his topic. If you got any thoughts, any ideas, suggestions on whether or not I'm wrong or right, or so on and so forth, hit up my channel, put some posts, and that's pretty much it. Thank you. Take care.